r/askreddit. Have you ever successfully stopped a repeat marketing or scam phone call? How did you do it? Hello. We'd like to offer you a free trip to Las Vegas. Sir, are you aware that you just called the emergency line of a Department of Energy research facility? We need to keep this line clear. You will add us to your do no call list. If I receive another call from your company, I will report this upstairs. Click. It helps that I'm not lying. Edit. This gained some traction. I do work at a lab, and part of my job is to answer the site's emergency line, not 911, and direct dispatch emergency units when emergencies do happen, and they do. We have had telemarketers call that line. I have used this technique, and if I absolutely needed to, I could kick this up to my boss and it would wind up on a desk in Washington. If it's an automated call, I redirect it to a computer that reads off the time and weather. That way the scammer's computer might think that someone's on the line and won't hang up right away. Well, I will be using that at some point and will be lying. For legit marketing spam, not scam calls, the threat of calling someone on the do not call list is actually pretty big. I'm not proud of it, but I worked in a call center back in college and the fine for calling someone on the do not call registry was like $40,000. Getting someone who said their number was on the do not call list was like a panic button scenario where they'd halt all of our lists to make sure it wasn't outdated and then check to make sure that number really is on the registry to see if we're in for a fine if they report it. Doesn't stop the true scam calls that'll never be tracked down anyway. But those like legit companies that are just really annoying are very afraid of the do not call list. I got a call from one of those "you've been selected for a free trip to the Bahamas" scammers. I told her that I couldn't do that right now. "Oh no sir, you don't understand, it's free, you just need to." No, I understand that mom, it's just, I'm currently under federal investigation and cannot leave the country. I'm terribly sorry from all us, have a wonderful day. Click. I'm ringing about your recent accident. Oh, you mean when I ran over all those children? Oh, I'm sorry. I know. I shouldn't have gone flat out in a school zone. Okay, did they figure out which heads went with which bodies? Click. Got a call that there was a virus on my computer, told them that was impossible as I throw my computer into the river so the cops couldn't get any evidence on me. Haven't heard from them since. My wife got a call from Microsoft. I acted confused, like if they are from HR or what, because it's a work laptop. After a bit told them I work for big tech company, and if my laptop is having problems it should be HR calling me. They panicked and hung up. Pretty sure she hasn't gotten another one since. Didn't help that she didn't own a laptop, she only had her company one, and that mine was a Mac, so we literally didn't own a Windows box at the time. Not me, but my grandma. After grandpa died, she started getting phone calls in the evening from an insurance agent trying to sell her insurance for her husband. She's very polite, but she always says no thank you before she hangs up the phone. This goes on for almost a week. Grandma is really beside herself about these calls, and she tells my mom how upset she is with this man. One evening, I guess the guy was really impatient with her, and before grandma could say no thank you, the agent asked her, "But mom, you need your husband to be covered. Don't you care if he's covered?" To which she promptly replied, "He is covered. With 6 feet of dirt. Is that enough coverage for you?" The man hung up on her and didn't call again. Grandma really was a nice lady, and she was embarrassed that she lost her temper with that guy. My sisters and loved that story. Edit. Wow. Silver. Thank you for your kindness. My gran would get calls from companies about her dead husband's bills. She would get snarky with them and give them the number and address of the cemetery where he's buried at. Would receive a specific one 9 times out of 10. "Your car warranty is about to expire. Press 1 if you'd like to be connected to a representative." So I would oblige, wait for someone to come on the line and say make, model and year of your vehicle, which I usually followed up with 2013 Hasbro ATV or 2017 Little Tikes tricycle or something of that nature. I must have become a famous caller because they only called maybe 6 times after I started doing that, and they always started with "oh look who it is." Eventually, it just stopped. I assume it's because they were tired of wasting their time on someone who was wasting their time. I usually reply with what car are you calling about, and they'll say can you confirm the year, make and model, and I just keep asking what car are you calling about. They hang up every time. Sometimes I get snippy petty and say, well, you're calling me about my car's extended warranty, which means you clearly know what car I own, so you tell me. They hang up of course. I get a call from a random pharmaceutical company saying that my supply of Viagra is ready for pickup. I told him that I had a complaint regarding the Viagra. I said that I only took half a pill and now only half of my PP was hard. Now my base is hard but the tip was soft and I was pissed. I kept going on this Viagra rant for about a minute or so and then they hang up. Happened twice and my friends are still laughing. Half my PP was hard, holy shit, that's gold, OMG. Answer the phone. Connect to an agent, mute your phone and carry on with what you were doing. They quickly take you off their dialers when you waste their agent's time. I'm mostly the same, but I've stepped it up. Answer, connect, mute the same, but when a person picks up and starts speaking I rapid fire press numbers on my keypad until they hang up. My favorite response to it has been, beautiful song sir, we won't call again. They called again. My friend speaks English, Spanish and Russian. He would just start randomly switching between languages and each language had a different personality. He would confuse them into total submission. They rarely called back. I worked in a restaurant that was definitely not called J. Alexander's. At said restaurant you got 3 table sections and I had a co-worker that would use a different accent at each table. Table 1 was Australian, table 2 was German and table 21 was Indian. Once a table got up the new table got a new accent. It was his mental game to keep the accent straight for the whole shift, every table. I used to get a lot of unsolicited calls from a company who could sort my debt. I got a call from them one day when I wasn't doing much at home so decided to have some fun. I gave a false name, false address, which they couldn't find on their system. I convinced them it was a new build eventually. I then went through my debts meticulously, had them waiting while I found the paperwork etc. Some of the debts were for my sex change, and then reverting back because I changed my mind. 30-40 minutes later and I had over £300 K debt, and able to pay up to £4,000 per month to clear it with them. The woman on the phone got her boss, because it was such a big contract, and when the boss lady got on the phone, I told her I made it all up. I kid you not, she told me I was wasting their time. And that I shouldn't do that, then hung up on me. Never heard from them again. I got a call about having $10,000 in credit debt. I have never had a credit card. I got a call, started reeling off this massive script. Finished probably after 2 minutes of solid talking, and I politely sat through the whole thing. I paused and said, sorry? She said again and started the whole script again from the start. Another 2 minutes solid talk wall later, I said, sorry? This time, there was a bit of frustration in her voice. Again and once again did the whole 2 minutes again, aggressively this time. Sorry? Fuck this, and the call ended. Reminds me of a big meme in Formula 1 regarding a non-native English speaking journalist that did his best to ask a long, descriptive question to drivers at a press conference. After he spoke for what felt like an eternity, probably 1.5–2 minutes, you could tell the other press and drivers found his wholesome attempt at a good question humorous. One of the drivers that his inquiry was directed to said, could you repeat the question? I'm sure another scammer will call again since it's just an act that all of them do, but I got a social security scam call. They told me they had found 22 pounds of cocaine in a Toyota Camry with some blood in the front seat because they always say that exact line. I responded, oh my god, that's terrible. So are you telling me that this was not you who left the car there? No, that was me, but I had 30 pounds of cocaine in that car. Are you telling me that 8 pounds just went missing? So he was very confused and I was accusing him of stealing it. Then he started swearing at me until he hung up. No, it was a silver Toyota. Whisper, is the body still in the trunk? I asked them for their social security and they hung up on me. Whack. Ha 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 ha. I did the same. I answered all worried and then said, So can I borrow yours for a while instead? Person got pissed and hung up on me. No calls back though. Saying something like, hello there, you are speaking with a sales representative from PleasureCon. What kind of sex toys do you want to order? Really scream it at them BTW, it always works for me. Welcome to Jim's Warehouse. You got the dough, we got the hoe. Yeah. Got a call from the duct cleaning people. I told them I don't have ducts, I have geese. They just hung up on me and haven't bothered me since. Answer the phone with Ghostbusters what they want and get increasingly exasperated when they don't have a legitimate paranormal issue. Helps to loudly snack gum. I tried to troll a guy who was clearly calling people to get their bank account information by saying they were giving away money to help college students. He was from India and was dedicated to his job. I tried to piss him off for about 30 minutes but he kept interrupting me and I eventually told him to fuck off and hung up the phone. He kept cutting me off saying but my friend. Made a fuck you bloody fucking guy. Told them that I was a member of their branch a floor above them and that they misdialed. They said fuck you and hung up. Didn't get a call back from them for a few months. I unplugged the landline. It was either that shit or my father-in-law, so win-win. You should have unplugged the father-in-law. I always just say Bill's orphanage, you make M we take M. They usually don't call back after that. Just play dumb and eat up their time. They are playing a numbers game and don't want to spend 30 minutes with some good that gives them nothing. In that 30 they would rather get shot down 20 times and maybe find that old lady they can trick. Twitch streamer Kit Boga currently has a personal record of 16 hours on the phone over the past week or so with a single caller and his co-workers. About once or twice a week I would get the Microsoft support phone call. For about 3 weeks, I would hang up on them. After about a month of this, I decided to jack with them. I let them give their line about how my computer is sending them error, blah, 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 blah. I kept responding with, interesting, okay, fascinating, etc. When they said that they wanted to connect to my computer, I told them that this would be difficult. They asked why. I told them that they called the server room for the Pentagon. I do not think I have ever heard anyone hang up quicker. Whenever they intro with this is so and so on a recorded line, I always politely say I do not consent to being recorded or monitored, or something along those lines. It's always fun how flustered they get and not sure of what to do. They usually hang up and don't call back again. I don't even know if they need my consent to record me, but it seems to work. I managed to stop the Indian Microsoft customer service scammers from calling me. The calls were getting pretty bad earlier this year, probably 4 a day from the same people, usually the same person. I finally got tired of it and decided that I was going to mess with them. So the next time they called, I told them that I had all Apple products. Well, what do you know? A few minutes after we hung up, Apple customer service called to tell me that my computer had a virus. Cue my response, Apple? Why is Apple calling me? I only use Windows products. The guy cursed at me and hung up. This little charade went on for a few days, with him getting angrier and angrier each time. He said he was going to cut off my face and wear it one time. I told him that I would feel pretty sorry if he did, because then he would be even uglier than he is now. That was the last I heard from that particular guy, as they switched over to having a woman call me after that, though I could clearly hear him ranting about me in the background during one phone call. I kind of feel sorry for the woman, because I had hatched a master plan to get the calls to stop, and she just so happened to have drawn a short straw to call my house that day. Hello, this is Microsoft customer support. Mom, I am calling you today to tell you that your computer has a virus. Double quote. Me, computer? I don't own a computer. Double quote. Oh, I am sorry. Not your computer. Your tablet. Me, I don't own one of those either. Double quote. Well, how do you get on the internet? Me, the internet? Why would I want to get on the internet? We don't allow any of the devil's technology in this house. The internet is a tool of Satan. I refuse to use it. I will not touch any piece of technology that can access it. How dare you imply that I would fill my life with sin by having a computer? I rebuke that idea. I then ranted about technology being of the devil for several minutes, offered to perform an exorcism for her to rid her of the technological demons she'd opened herself to, even pretended to speak in tongues at one point. At first she kept trying to interrupt me and continue on with her spiel, but I didn't really let her. By the end she was speechless. She managed to stutter an apology and hung up, and I haven't been bothered by either Microsoft or Apple customer support in probably 6 months. I always hit the button to speak with a person or get more info, or sometimes they call with a live person to begin with. I put on my sexy low voice and say, "Hey baby, how you doing?" They usually hang up immediately. If not, my next response to whatever they say is, "That sounds really hot, what are you wearing?" Pretty close to 100% hang up and don't call back. After I had my first child, I kept getting calls about how the netting they used for my hernia surgery was being recalled and that I could get a lot of money if I took the time to talk them. I told them that I have never had that surgery and that it must be a mistake. They asked if I was in the hospital on blank day. I said, yes, but because I had a baby, not because I had any surgery. It looks like their records are mistaken and to please take me off the list. I thought that was that. I got a phone call 3x a week for months, having the same exact conversation each time. I would say, "Take me off this list right now and I want to speak to your manager." They would hang up. I could tell IT was the same guy. Finally, after almost a year of this shit, I was sitting in the car waiting for an appointment. I was pretty early and had a lot of time to kill. They call me again. I tell them, "Me, you have made a mistake. Take me off this list and I want to talk to whoever is in charge." He hung up. I realized that I actually had their number in my phone. So I called him. "Me, I have your number now. I am not going to stop calling until you let me talk to your manager." Him, "Mom, please do not call this phone again, as this is my personal cell phone." Oh man. It was so on when he told me this. I repeated to call his number over 20 times. Each time he answered I said the same thing. "Me, I have your number now. I am not going to stop calling until you let me talk to your manager or take me off this list for real." At one point he even said I was mistaken and he knows I had hernia surgery. After what felt like the millionth call, women answered. Her, "Why do you keep harassing one of my employees?" Me, "I have told your employee that he has the wrong person and to take me off this list. He refuses to believe me and has been calling me 3x a week for the past 8 months. Her, "Mom, he is calling you because you are on our list and he can help you." Pretty much saying the same shit the other guy was saying, but with a really shitty attitude. Like it's me who is the arsehole here. Me, "I have his number now and if you want me to stop, you need to take me off this list and never call again. If you do not, I will call him every minute I have a chance. I spend a lot of time in my car waiting for clients to meet me. So you guys will be hearing from me a lot." Her, long pause. "Alright mom, I took you off the list. Please don't call here again." Click. They never called again. Sorry for my grammar and spelling on my cell phone. If it's a human on the line, I tell them that the person they are looking for had just died. I screamed for a solid 30 seconds. My mother-in-law keeps a compressed air horn in her living room. When they call she agrees to everything and then when it's time for the credit card number, "Are you ready, Huonk?" Pass it the 3-year-old. I answer the phone as Detective so and so. Then I ask them who they are and why they called the number in a very stern and cop-like manner. Then I ask them where they are and act like I am giving the information to someone else who is contacting Interpol. I ask a few more questions about their relationship to the number and advise anyone who has not already hung up that they are to stay put and wait for Interpol to arrive for interrogations. Stopped calls to my classroom. I always answer scam calls and try to get to a person. Then I talk really softly so they turn up their headset. After a while I scream the highest pitched scream I can or play the video on YouTube. High pitched noise.